Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Preparations to Be Together for an Unknown Period of Time. And this is a foreign language film set in Budapest, and it's about Marta, who is a 40-year-old neurosurgeon who originally was from Budapest and had moved to America and has been working in New Jersey. Shameless plug there. And she meets a man and she develops this relationship with Janos, and she returns to Budapest to spark this hopefully sustaining relationship. But the issue is when she gets there, he doesn't remember her. And we go from there. And seems mysterious, seems interesting. This is from writer-director Lily Horvat, who I don't have really much experience with any of Horvat's other work, and this is starring Natasha Stork, who plays Marta, and this film starts right off the bat with a very intriguing shot of like a brownish tint kind of picture of Marta, and then cuts to a shot right out the window of a plane, and she starts speaking this narration and sets up this film, and then we come in. Right off the bat, one of the first things that I noticed about this film is the level of texture and just beauty and richness about all the colors. And Robert Mellet, who is the cinematographer, it's beautifully shot. And the way that the colors pop, because you see Marta has beautiful blue eyes, very rich red lipstick throughout most of the film, and her outfits have very strong colors. And like there's a scene where she has a red umbrella and it just pops. This film is gorgeous and the framing is great. She gets this apartment and you look out and there's just this blue tinted bridge out far in the distance, and it's just beautiful looking shots that just really invoke a lot of feelings. And then you have Stork, who you might say that she doesn't show a whole lot in terms of like she doesn't speak a whole lot, she doesn't show a lot of emotion, but when you really focus in on it, she shows everything, and it's all through her eyes, her lips. All of the physical acting is really impeccable that she provides in this film, and you realize so much from how she moves her eyes and how she interacts with her eyes, and it just pops and just is a really fantastic physical performance. And if you really pay attention to her reaction shots and what happens, you have Horvat, who is directing this film, really focuses on very intimate, very close shots. And there's a scene of her cutting back to this throughout the film where she's communicating with who seems to be a therapist, and the very incredibly close-up shots of like mid-face where you just see her lips and just enough of her eyes, and all these different kinds of shots where you get this intimacy and you're really drawn in and you feel this connection with her. As this film delivers this intriguing hook of like early on she comes face to face with Janos and he like doesn't know who she is and she faints, and then bam, you're like, what's going on here? And at that point you're really hooked into the film, and it's very atmospheric. There's like very emotive and heavy strings, and Gabor Karetsis is the composer for this film, and Gabor does such a great job of laying this atmospheric feel to the film. This is quite methodical. It's an hour and 35 minutes, but this is not a quick film. It really takes its time and just ruminates on each and every shot, and I can imagine that's going to be challenging for a lot of viewers, compiled with it's in a different language, which also might challenge some viewers. But if you're into and let that like European style of pacing of a film really take you in, this isn't like bam, 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 bam. This isn't like an Edgar Wright movie where it's like incredibly artistic and aggressive editing. It's methodical in the way that it just takes things in. There's so much physical acting going on here, whether it's these interactions she has with this young med student, it's the interactions that she has with Janos, and you just have all these different tense moments and tension building interactions and relationships. There's an incredibly tense sexual scene that happens later in the film that just builds and builds and builds, and you feel the tension in the room. And this film really relies upon that tension. It relies upon mystery and slowly peeling back these layers of this complex onion here of a story. And by the end, you might find this film very satisfying. You might not expect where it's going to take you and what some of the revelations are, and I appreciated that about that. And this has a very, very interpretive final shot, and I thought it was a beautiful final shot and really fit the film and really captured the state that Merita is at the end of this film. And from start to finish, I was really engrossed. I really connected with her, and this performance from Stork really carries this film a long way, along with Horvath's direction and the cinematography and the composing. It just all really comes together to deliver a really high, tense, suspenseful, and poignant experience. And I was a huge fan of this film. And a lot of mainstream audiences, American audiences, might not find this extremely appealing, but for me, I really sunk in and sat in it and ruminated with it and really appreciated the experience and the journey that I went on with this film. But those are my thoughts on preparations to be together for an unknown period of time. But those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.